Hey, paisans, the time has come. On the air since 2009, the independently produced, non-FCC compliant champ of video game talk podcasting. Here comes Tiger Claw Radio. Here's your host, Critical Failure.
What's going on, everybody? This is CF. You're listening on Tiger Claw Radio. So this week, we got some good stuff. We got some good stuff indeed. Hang on, let me look into the bag and see what's here. I had my birthday since the last episode, so there was some birthday shenanigans to go over. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Hitman series and also revisiting the Terry Kavanagh classic VVVVVV and some other stuff. So we're going to change things up this week. Normally at the top of the show I play a chiptune. It's whatever I can find, whatever's happening on in the chiptune scene. But this week I'm going to play more of a synthwave track, sort of like vaporwave, synthwave kind of thing. And it's from an artist called Sinless, and the name of the track is This Real Love? And the reason why I'm jumping genres is because this was part of a 3-song EP that I loved. It was so good. And it was on Bandcamp. I came across it when I was just getting a bunch of crazy stuff on Bandcamp, whatever I could find. And the EPs disappeared. So I don't know what happened. I have to think the artist pulled it down, maybe. I'm not sure, but I can't find any trace that this song exists, or this album exists, or the artist exists even. The only reason I have this song is because several years ago, I used it when I was making a mixtape on Cassette Culture. So thankfully, I still have the MP3 because I kept like an MP3 master list saved locally for all the mixtapes I made. So here we go. This is This Real Love from Sinless. You're listening to Tiger Claw Radio. More when we come back.
She's the fairest of them all. I always have to change to be loved. Is this real life or projected fantasy? Is this real love? If this is real love, then I don't have to fake it. If this is real love, then I don't have to make it. She's the careless one I love. I try to tell myself I'm enough.
All right, boys, you know what time it is. Let's do some secret track fun. So we've been doing this for the past couple of months. You know how it goes. I'm going to play part of a track from an old video game. You're going to listen, see if you can figure out what game it's from, and at the end of the show, we're going to reveal it. All right, let's give it a listen. Give it a second. What do you think? Do you know where it's from? We'll let it play it a little longer. It's a good track. See if we can let it run to the loop point. All right, so what do you think? Can you get the game just based on that? If not, we're going to revisit it later in the show.
Bye, Hudson!
How we doing? Pop, pop, fizz, fizz. And I'm like, okay, I think we're going to go with it. All right, boys and girls. So, no, it's popping a lot. Hang on. Let's try that again. That is livable. All right, so in the elapsed time since the last TCR, I had my birthday. My birthday is March 6th. It is the same birthday as Shaquille O'Neal and Tom Arnold. It is also 3 days after the birthday of our very own Darabka, the gaming beast, our good friend Sean over at the next round. So one of the items that I acquired is, I don't even know what to call this thing. It's called a fight box. Think like an arcade stick, like a fight stick, where you have your joystick on the left and you have some arcade buttons and it's in a big box. Well, it's one of those, but it doesn't have the actual joystick part. The joystick, in this case, is replaced by arrow keys that you would find on a keyboard. Now, this is the only one of these I was able to find on the market. But there's a lot of these, well, like with the arrow keys, but there's a lot of these like joystick boxes where there's no joystick and it's just a bunch of Sanwa buttons in a box. I tracked this thing on Amazon for quite some time. It was like $60, and then towards my birthday, it went down to $20, and we were like, okay. So I got it for my birthday, and here it is. And it is, unboxing this thing, it's as ridiculous as it sounds. But I gotta say, I kind of like it. It's pretty cool. Would I get it for the full 60? No. I don't even know if I would use it on fighting games. But I played a particular game I haven't played in a while with it. VVV. You guys remember this game? I think it's just pronounced V. It's Terry Kavanaugh's platform game from like 2010 or whenever it came out. Man, it's great. So I ended up revisiting that game for a very specific reason, though, and it wasn't just because of this box. My oldest son, who is now 15 years old, when he was a little tyke, in a playpen, I remember setting up my laptop next to his playpen and doing TCR, with him like as a baby, chirping in the background. Well, he's 15 now, and he played all the way through VVV, and he just finished it like in the past, I don't know, week or so. And we were sitting together in my office on the evening of my birthday. All the festivities had finished, and he was playing some Steam games, and he picked up the last shiny object in that game. Now, if you're not familiar, it's basically the hidden thing that you don't need to get. There's, I don't know how many there are. It's 20, I think, 20 of these little hidden things. And so you can beat the entire game and never get them all, which is how I did it. I just wanted to play the main quest. Well, he 100%ed the game. He got all the shiny things, and he got to the end, and it unlocks a minigame called Super Gravitron, which is kind of fun. It's a tiny little minigame. I'm familiar with it because they also sell that on, well, I say sell. You can get it off of Google Play for your phone for free, and so I've played it quite a bit, in that environment. But man, oh man, my oldest son loves to talk trash about my skills. He's like, this is why I'm better than you at video games, Dad. And oh my gosh, it just gets under my skin like nobody's business. So I just thought, you know what? It's time. It's time to make somebody cry. So I hooked up my brand new Fighting Box power controller, and I started playing through V again. And I forgot, a good-natured rivalry between me and my son aside, I forgot how awesome that game is. It's really, really good. If you've never played it, it's worth it. I remember when it came out. It originally came out with a price tag of $15, and I remember being off put by the price, and the consensus of everybody who played it was like, look, man, you just need to pony up and pay the money because it's worth it. Well, now the regular price is $5, and it often goes, in bundles and whatnot. It was in one of the earliest Humble bundles, not the first one, but it was like the, second or third or something. So, very easily accessible game. I'm looking at the release date now. I'm looking at the Steam page, and it says it was released in September 2010. So, 15 years old now. And what a game. You know what I never did with VVV, though? It has a level editor in it, right? But it came out before Workshop was invented in Steam. There was no Steam Workshop anywhere yet. So it doesn't have Workshop support. Instead of that, it's got like 20 or so built-in like little level quests that you can play, and they're all from like major names in the indie gaming scene at the time. The individual who made what's the name of that platforming game my son used to love so much? Celeste. That person is in there. Notch is in there because Minecraft hadn't been sold to Microsoft yet, so he was still like a huge indie gaming name. My son mentioned all the levels were named by Bennett Foddy, of all people. So this was a really great game. But what I never did was actually go somewhere and download a user-made level and plug it in. The only exception to that is I think our very own Retro Kaiser was making like some joke levels, and I remember installing one of his, but I don't know if there's like a cultural hub where you can go to and download levels. I would be interested to find that out. But there you go. That's just sort of a random sort of spotlight of a Steam game that I'm sure is on other platforms. I'm sure if you've got a Switch, you can get this game because it's a beloved game that's been around a long time now. So here's another one for you. I revisited the Hitman series. I love the Hitman series, but I never played the latest games. I have Hitman World of Assassination in my Steam library. That when they sold that for $3, and apparently they sold it for $3 because you have to pay like more to get the real mission. I don't know, whatever, it didn't matter. I never even tried to install it yet. It's just nothing against it. I just never got there. In 2022, and I know this because of the way Steam timestamps, when you last played a game, I played all the way through Hitman 2: Silent Assassin, all the way through it. I loved that game. It was so good. And this was 2022. I'm not talking about something I played back when it came out. In fact, I played this game on the PS2 closer to when it came out, whenever that was, and I didn't take with it at the time. I don't know if it was because it was on the PS2 or if it was because I was younger, but at the time I thought the controls were too complicated, and I never really clicked with it. It was okay. I enjoyed it, but it was like right around the time Halo 1 was all the rage, and everyone was like coming over for these live Halo parties, and it just kind of got backburnered, and I never really got back to it. But I played all the way through it, 2022, absolutely adored it. That's another, if worth going back and checking out. If you want a really awesome experience, you can get for like $1 at any given sale. There you go. So I revisited it, and not to play through Hitman 2 again, but there's several games after that are still really old. The very next game is called Hitman Contracts, and I remember playing that immediately after, back in 2022. I installed it, yesterday, and I couldn't. The game loads. You can navigate the menus just fine. You can even pick your difficulty and start the game. Once you get into the game, I cannot for the life of me get Agent 47 to walk around or actually move. I worked on this thing for at least an hour. I'm aware that sometimes this sort of thing happens with Steam controller support. So you got to disable controller support and then run it. That didn't work. Make sure you have no actual gamepads plugged in and then run it. That didn't work. It was a bummer, man. It was a big bummer. So rather than spend a lot of time trying to figure it out, I'll revisit it at some point. but I just skipped it and I went on to Hitman Blood Money, which I had heard a lot of really good things about, but never played. So I played Hitman Blood Money for the first time. I'm looking at the Steam page. That appears to have come out in 2006. And I gotta say, man, I really dug it. I didn't put in a ton of time into it just yet, an hour and a half, but this is a good case for in favor of like the Steam backlog. You know, let me see when I bought this thing, because I know Steam will tell me if I go to my favorites. Yeah, okay, so I bought Blood Money on December 20th, 2012. I bought this game 13 years ago, and it's been unplayed in my Steam library all the way up until yesterday. December 20th, it must have been in the middle of like an old school holiday sale, back when they used to have flash sales. Do you guys remember that? You couldn't always get refunds on Steam, right? So for a while, when there was no such thing as a refund, they would do flash sales where, okay, this thing is on sale, but it's on extra sale for the next like hour and a half. So I remember when Christmas would happen, and particularly Thanksgiving Day, I would have to check the computer like over and over again. Every couple hours, I'd run up and see what was on flash sale. It was a really good time. And then when they instituted refunds, they had to get rid of it for some reason. I can't remember exactly why, but there was some reason that made sense, like getting things on a flash sale, and then and then issuing refunds was just like too much. So it was just something that we had to let go of in favor of getting refunds. And, you know, pro consumer, if that's what they have to do, refunds are definitely a thing we need. So there you go. 13 years in my Steam library, and it's getting played, and I really, really loved it. It's not even all, you know, it's not even all I have. I still have Hitman Absolution, that's also unplayed. Add that to favorites. When did I buy Absolution? Because this is going to be another really embarrassing one. I bought that one. Okay. 2015, so not quite as bad. Just 10 years. 10 years this has been sitting in my library. So there you go. The Hitman games are great. I like the sneaking around. I like that if you get caught, the game isn't over, right? You can pull out your guns and start shooting and have like a fighting chance. So I like that. The level designs are really clever. I like that there's certain places that are set up with a strategy that's clearly the strategy you're supposed to use. Like in the very first level, they introduce you to how you can change clothes, and then the very next room you can just walk in with the clothes as long as you've made the change and walk through. But if you don't do that, yes, the game is harder, but you can still do it. I love that. It makes it feel more like don't get me wrong, the rails are still there, but it makes them feel more passive. It makes me feel like I have more freedom than I actually have. This was the problem with the very first Hitman game, which I have played, Hitman Codename 47. I got a couple hours into that. I didn't like that game at all, because if you don't take whatever the predestined route is, yes, the game is wide open, but you're going to get gunned down in 2 seconds, and you're not going to have a chance. So they definitely, of the 6 Hitman games I have, Codename 47, the oldest one, is definitely the weakest one. So if you never played any of those games, those older games, apart from the first one, very, very good. Specifically Hitman 2. I loved it. I loved the hub world, right? In the hub world in that game, you know, is a little like like a church. What's the word for it? Like an abbey, you know, and you have a little shed in the abbey, and that's where your weapons are. And as you play through levels, your weapon collection grows. Oh, it's so good. So good. Such a good game. So there you go. There's my little rant about the Hitman series, because I think when I look up Hitman, some of those games, those older games get forgotten. And I think that's not entirely unfair. I mean, the new games, whenever I look at footage of them, no, I haven't played them, but they look like they did that game justice. The newer games look like they still have a bite to it and are still cool. So hats off to whoever's handling the Hitman series, because it looks like it's a rare example of a series that was taken care of. We're just about at the 20-minute mark, and this is the time I like to set aside to thank the Patreon sponsors. They give their resources to make sure we can keep coming back week after week, and I don't really put a whole lot on the actual Patreon feed because I want to make sure everything's available to everybody, and these guys continue to support anyway, so I sort of read their names off in a hall of distinguished gentlemen here on the air. They are Darabka, TechmoBalls, and EmeraldRangers.com. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you're enjoying the party. What do you think? You guys know what track this is yet? Do you know already? Oh, yeah. This is something that I failed to play last week. Darabka made his comment for the show, and he made like an AI slop track reading off his comment, which I thought was really funny. So I'm going to play it here on the air. All right, let's listen to this thing together. Give it about 2 more seconds, and here we go.
DJ Khaled radio station. He was like a big meme 10 years ago. Don't know if it'll really help the game. I want to make now our own low-effort top-down GTA rip-off game with our podcasts and choice tracks on various stations. PC emulation that isn't DOS of that era is a major pain in the ass. Eventually, I want to build a Windows 95 or XP machine. I enjoy your obscure games. You play mostly because I play them too. Steam indie game scene is really where it's at. AAA is AIDS, AA can be okay at times, like RoboCop Rogue City. War game construction set could be neat. Apparently you can import your sprites in the first one at least.
I love it when it says words wrong.
The SimCity 2020-25 challenge was fun. Can't wait for the city of Emperor CF. Eventually, I want to use our maps for Simcopter and Streets of Sim City. Would be a blast. I remember Time Lord wasn't great. I did like box art. Also weird it's when Milton Bradley tried to get into producing video games. Still, I would need to replay it again to form a new opinion. 1997 was seriously probably the best year in PC and console games. Hands down, Beastcast was 2 days late. It's okay, man, life happens. FF5 and 8 had the most intriguing combat and leveling system, but 4, 6, and 7 had probably the best stories. Then again, I haven't played 2, 3, and 9, 16 LOL, so what do I know?
That's pretty good.
So what do I know?
I think that might be the end. My favorite is when there's like a typo or like he spells a word wrong or something like that. I find it funny. So this was a comment he left on the 9th. I remember buying the orange box to play Half-Life 2 through specifically. I played it before on other people's machines, but now I could play it. It was where I installed Steam for the first time. That's like 1 or 2 years before we made contact, maybe more. I think it was a great game, but the fact that we'll probably never have closure on the ending is a real downer. It's cool to see the Command & Conquer games get workshop support. As a kid, I enjoyed making maps and making custom units using any files. Did you know Command & Conquer? Did you know that Command & Conquer there are secret dinosaur levels, and Red Alert has a secret giant ant level, like from the movie Them from 1954? No, I didn't know that. You can unlock the sprites via the ini files, and I remember making a super fast Einstein unit that could shoot Tesla beams that had nuclear explosion, but eventually could not move and became like a Tesla tower. Stupid crap like that. Lol, the last Civ I played was 4. It was okay. The combat is better than Civ 3. I own 5, and I'm curious what it's like. Yeah, mainline Civilization is stuck in a rut. Similar games like Call to Power 2 can go far into the future, and other 4X games can also change settings and gameplay, but Civ is mostly got to stay Civ. I hear Civ 7 is bad because it became woke like everything else on the planet. I hear PC Emu is good for that, but yeah, XP used to be the king, so maybe I'll try that. Crim Sky is the guy that made the SimCity 2000 map renderer. He also made patches for Simcopter and Streets of SimCity to work on modern machines. Check it out and tell me if it works. And then he puts a link. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest is regarded by most as the worst game, but my first Final Fantasy game and the first true RPG I beat. It also was the first Final Fantasy game released in Europe. Yes, it was made for kids, and it's very basic and not pretty, but it was great for at least one kid. It also has some great music. It's a great introduction for Final Fantasy and JRPGs back then. Batman on the NES. It's cool, but I suck at it. I didn't have it as a kid, and probably wouldn't have. Probably would have enjoyed it. The podcast is pretty cool, even without the brave new expansion pack. At Critical Failure 488. Comment from me. Thanks, man. Good to hear from you, Drobka. Hope things are going well, brother. It looks like last week when TCR came out, I forgot to do the YouTube release. Oops. Every week the podcast comes out on emeraldrangers.com, and when the podcast comes out, I take last week's episode, package it up, and release it on YouTube. And that's I forgot to do that last week, so sorry, YouTube. But yeah, I think as a consequence, usually comments come in through YouTube more than anywhere else. So yeah, that is the extent of the fail bag for this week. So that said, we got a little bit of unfinished business here on TCR. This track is from the game Metal Storm, and it plays on the 3rd and 5th stages. So you had to be good enough to get to stage 3 in order to hear it. But yeah, it's from Metal Storm. I really enjoyed that game. This is a good one. Had really good music. Normally when I do this, I have a title screen or something else to throw in, when the big reveal happens, but it looks like when I was getting music files, I didn't bother to do that. So this is what I have. Oh yeah. Well, that's the show for this week. It's a short little one. I'm a day late because of my birthday. Whatever it is you got going on this week, I hope it goes well for you. I really do. I'm rooting for you. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next week.